I kissed my husband's friend. That's my truth. That's the truth of the cheating.
Yo, what's up YouTube? My name is Shishi Zed. I am back in here with another video for you guys. No more waste of time. Let's get into it. Okay, so today we've got another cheating video. And listen guys, I think it's important that we do a lot of these cheating videos because the common perception is that only men cheat, which just isn't true. Because a lot of men are naive, right? They buy into this idea that women are these beautiful angels, right? Shout out to AMS, that will never cheat on you, right? That they're these princesses who always do everything right. I'm not here to paint women in a bad image. I'm here to just say women cheat too. However you feel about that, the statistics don't lie, right? Especially in the black community, women cheat at just a few percentages lower than black men. So when we see these cheating videos, I think it's good for a lot of men who aren't necessarily woke, right, to the RP to get a perspective of how the real world works, because a lot of these guys get into these relationships with women, they're not vetting them, right? They're marrying them, they're having children with them, and then these women are cheating, right? And when a woman cheats, it's a lot worse. Why? Because when women cheat, they require an emotional connection, an attachment, and it's a lot more dangerous. A man can cheat without that emotional care for the woman and that emotional attachment, because in most cases you can cheat with her Monday, right? And then Tuesday she gets into a car crash. He doesn't care. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm just going to keep it 100. Men cheat, and when men cheat, it's a lot different than when women cheat, because women require that emotional connection majority of the times, right? There's a few little oddballs in there of women who don't require that, and they're different, right? We don't want to mess with those at all. But anyways, no more delay. Let's get into this video. This video is called I Cheated on My Husband. Let's go.
My truth, I cheated on my husband. A lot of people don't know that I was married. To some people's standards, they would say we weren't. I was married for 2 years. I got married in 2008, and it was real. I was in love. I just found my journal entry from 2008, and so that we met in 2008 in April. It was like on the phone, like our first phone conversation, and it was April 11th, 2008 at 1:34 a.m. I wrote briefly, I am smiling. I just got off the phone with him. Cool, no expectations. Things are just cool. So we met online in March, and our first conversations were somewhere in April. And yes, we got married in August. So it was very real, very quick. That young love that, you know, you can't even help but to have, I guess, one time in your life. It was a beautiful thing. And then on April 24th, I was ironically writing about why are celebrities always in relationships? Do they know something we don't? Being married, divorced, married, separated, divorced, dating.
So real quick, I just want to make an observation. She met this guy who she only knew for a few months before she got married to him in August, which isn't too surprising, right? Because I know when men mean to get married, or their intentions are honest, right, and they're ready for that type of a commitment, it is true. Like, men know when they're ready to get married, and it usually happens really fast. So I'm not going to make a big deal about that. But a huge red flag to me is that she's comparing a real marriage, a real relationship to that of celebrities. That's a big problem, right? They live in a completely different reality and a completely different world than we do. And we cannot do that. That's one of the biggest mistakes I think we can make in our generation, is to compare ourselves and our relationships to celebrities, right? Their reality is not our reality. Their life is completely different, right? So big red flag for me. Any type of woman who looks at celebrity relationships or marriages as serious, or in comparison to their own relationship, is a problem. But I'm not going to judge anything else from here. Let's find out more and get back into this video.
And I said, he's about as country as they come. the good country boy that your grandmother always wanted you to be with. I feel like Country Mouse and City Mouse. I do like him now, but I am so scared because he came from nowhere. We will see what happens. I plan on meeting him in June, and who knows what will be going on. I will pray on this one. So, fast forward from April until we met in July. I think we met in July. My grandfather died, and he lived in New York. I lived in Georgia. He's from Georgia. I'm from New York. It was all cute. And we met, and I mean, that was it. That was it for me. He was in the military, and I didn't see any limitations. I was still in school, so I had to finish school. You go out, you do the military thing, you deploy, whatever. I'll be here. I'm strong enough. I love you. We can make this. Let's go. So in August, we got married. And the day we got married, I knew we were going to get divorced.
Hold up, man. Listen, she just said the day that she got married to this man, she knew that they were going to get divorced. Why follow through with the wedding? Right? Listen, no matter where you're at, if you know a relationship is heading to some type of destruction or some type of the end, right? If the relationship is going up in flames, it's always better that you end it sooner than later. A lot of us try to convince ourselves that we just need to look for the perfect time. Just maybe, right? Things might work out. But you know that you're already mentally checked out. I'm not sure if she's mentally checked out, but she just told us that at the wedding day, she knew that that marriage was not going to last. So why follow through? The sooner you leave a relationship that you think isn't going to benefit you, the better, because it lessens the damage, right? Because if things keep on going, now you have more things like your finances tied up in it, right? Your assets as a man, right? Which are tied onto another person, which you will have to split with that person when it comes to divorce. And then you have children who could get involved in the future, right? These are all things that you can avoid if you can cut things off, like a toxic marriage that you see as a problem in the beginning. I'm going to hold my peace. We're going to watch the rest of this. Let's get back into it.
He was like nervous and he was shaking. I mean, we eloped. I told my mom and my dad the day of that was like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm going to get married. They're like, what? He didn't tell his parents that he was married for years, but that is a whole nother story. All of this is in a book that I'm writing called Young, Dumb, and Divorced. But other than that, you know, we were in love. It was real. It was real to me. I can't speak for him, and this is why this is called My Truth. And marriage is something serious to me. It's not something that I played around with. So we got married. He was going to deploy shortly. And now I feel like, I fucked up. I messed up. I still loved him, but maybe, we shouldn't have got married. So sometime in November, the back and forth, the bickering, the time apart, a bunch of other things. One night I got down on my knees and I prayed, like old school, Our Father who art in heaven prayer, and like on my knees prayer. And I asked God, the God of my understanding, if this is not meant to be, I'm okay. Just give me a sign. Just let me know. Just tell me, everything that I need to know. I woke up in the middle of the night. My Yahoo Messenger was just making all of this noise. And I got an email. I got the email. Some girl sending me all this information and stuff about how my husband is, messaging her. So at this point it was cheating, emotional cheating. So fast forward, I forgive him. He deploys. I knew he wasn't strong enough for deployment. Like, deployment's no joke. Some things happened on deployment, arguing, bickering, all.
Okay, so I want to make a quick point here. I know that a lot of people who have relationships and they're long distance and they're in the military, right? Those could tend to be challenging relationships, right? And so I can expect that they had a lot of trouble and adversity in that aspect. One thing I want to point out here is a lot of women tend to use spirituality as a way to avoid accountability, right? For mistakes on their part, for choosing the wrong person, right? Instead of saying something like, I shouldn't have married this person back when I realized that, like, hey, this marriage wasn't going anywhere. They'll say, hey, God showed me later on, right? And they'll try to paint it in a way as making themselves look like the pure person in the situation, relationship. Very deceitful. Look out for it. A lot of women who are spiritual like to do this. Just saying, right? Like, be careful. Listen, I'm not placing any judgments here. All I'm saying is the guy's not here to tell his part of the story. He's not here to tell us that he was praying to God and trying to find the truth, right? Because she's really presenting herself as this spiritual, kind of naive woman who really didn't know what was going on, who is a victim to all her emotions and things were just happening and she really didn't have any choice. But she had a lot of choices. And I'm sure she might admit to it as we go on. We'll see, but let's get back into it and find out.
Out of all of those things, in between that time, I'd always been friends with his friends. Or not friends, but I befriended his friends. We had good conversation. So I was connected to some of his friends. It was one of his friends that...
Okay, another big problem, man. Listen to me. She just said that she befriended a lot of his friends, right? She went out of her way and deliberately made friends with his friends, his male friends. You, as a man, when you're dating a woman, should never allow this. I want to repeat this and I want to be clear as possible, right? If you're a man who's looking to minimize this type of a problem in your relationship, right? Cheating and a woman stepping out, you can't stop it overall, but if you want to minimize the problem, definitely not allowing your woman, and I mean not allowing your woman to create exclusive relationships, right, with your friends is a way of keeping that from happening. Your woman should not be creating friendships that are separate from you with your friends. That's a big problem. And listen, in the past, right, this wouldn't have been allowed. In the past, it was seen as unacceptable for a man's wife to be making friends with his friends. It shouldn't happen, and you shouldn't allow it. I'm telling you, listen, this might seem extreme, but this whole idea that we've been sold by the media of your girl hanging out with your friends and you guys go to the movies together and all your guy friends are around her, that creates potential for a lot of problems. You shouldn't leave room for that type of a problem. They shouldn't be able to create exclusive relationships. And people might say, oh, that's so insecure. What are you afraid of? Listen, you're afraid of this, right? Because we're watching a cheating reaction video right now. F that. You're not going to allow it. You shouldn't allow it. You're minimizing problems. This idea that your girl can be friends with your male friends and they're all just going to hang out together without any sexual tension, right, or attraction, you're being delusional, right? Keep them separate. Keep them away from each other. It's okay for them to meet once in a while, high and by, but building long-term relationships with each other, it gets weird, man. You want to minimize that stuff, right? Hanging out with each other once in a while as a group is cool, but them just consistently being introduced to different guy friends of yours and spending time together and sometimes being alone, right? Not good. Not good. You don't want that at all. Let's get back into this.
That I connected with, I would send all of them like care packages and stuff like that. And he was coming into Atlanta. He had just came off deployment. So we met up and I was trying to hook him up with one of my friends. That's not how any of that worked. When I saw him, there was like this instant attraction. And all of this is messed up. That's not even right. But it felt right, I guess, at the time. And we both noticed it, but we were like, shit, like, who does that? So we just kept it moving. Things are continuously going bad in my marriage. I had made up my mind that I was divorcing him, but I was going to send papers over to Afghanistan. So just waiting it out.
All right, we're not going to skip over that little section where she tried to avoid accountability for what it looks like she's going to cheat on her husband. I mean, the video is called "I Cheated on My Husband," right? She said, oh, I already decided I was going to divorce him. It was already finalized in my mind. That's BS. That's BS, right? You don't get any extra points because you already decided in your mind that you were going to divorce your husband, so might as well cheat on him. That's BS. Don't fall for that. But that's her trying to avoid accountability so that she doesn't take the full blame for the situation, because in her mind, she was already mentally checked out. Regardless, you still made a vow. You still made a decision to stick through it. You should at least wait till you finalize the divorce before you cheat. Let's get back into it.
Whatever. And one day I went down to Columbus and we went out to dinner. And then we went over to my friend's house and we were just hanging out and we were having a good time. And we were out on the porch and we were flirting at this point up until a lot more. We had already talked about like what the hell is going on. Why are we doing this? Blah, 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 blah. And then we kissed. I kissed my husband's friend. That's my truth. That's the truth of the cheating. Went out that night, had a good ass time, partied up. Not with him, but with me and my friends. We just like had a good time. I came home and I told my husband.
He busted those cheeks. She smashed her husband's friend. She doesn't want to tell you that because she's on camera, but I'm sorry. You don't just kiss on a night out and then decide to hold off and go party with your friends. It just doesn't happen. Right? She f***ed him. And that's the truth. That's what I believe. Right? She'd look terrible if she said that in front of camera, but that's what I believe.
I was like, hey, I kissed someone tonight. I didn't tell him who. I just told him that I did. I don't know if it was to get him payback for the things that had happened, the cheating that I had found out about, but I was done. It doesn't justify it. Earlier, when I was just kind of like going over in my head about just kind of having this conversation with you guys, I realized, our love was real. It wasn't anything. It wasn't pretend for me. Our breakup was real too. Like everything that happened after that. He ended up finding out that it was his friend from my friend. I forgive her, but so he did find out. There were times where like we were all in the room together. He didn't know then. I guess they stopped talking. I don't know, maybe.
All right, so I'm just going to stop it right there because it's just getting too crazy. If you guys want to watch the rest of this video, make sure you check the description down below. But she said there were times that she was cheating, right, with him. And notice how she didn't say that like, I had sex with this man. Avoiding accountability, right, it's just something that women do. Maybe because of the stigma that comes with cheating, it's worse for a woman to cheat and she looked down upon. It doesn't matter, right? Keep it real. If you're going to make a video, tell the truth. She said she was in the room with her husband and the man at the same time. That's dirty, man. That's foul. So I definitely think there's a lot we can learn from this. First off, I think she was done with the marriage before it really even started, right? She admitted that when they first got married, she knew that the marriage was going nowhere. That should have been an opportunity for her to make a really difficult decision. Now, for the man, he obviously lacked game. Because if a woman feels like this relationship is going nowhere, she will show you signs. This is why the RP is so important. This is why you knowing game and female nature is so important. You want to avoid these type of situations because a lot of great men have gone out to destruction the same exact way. Now, I'm going to assume that they didn't have any children because she didn't mention it, but there are always assets, right, that are at risk of being lost based off a stupid decision that you made to get married with the wrong person. As a man, you should be able to tell whether a woman sees you as alpha or beta. She was looking for a fairy tale. She was looking for a beta male provider, and that's what she got, right? The guy doesn't sound like he had any real direction or authority in the relationship, but sometimes, man, it doesn't matter what you have, right? If you marry the wrong woman, things will not work out. And of course, on top of all that were the other things I mentioned as far as like allowing your woman to make friends with your friends. That's a huge one, man. And that's something I had to learn over time. That whole thing that people want to do, like get cool with their friends' girlfriends and introduce their girlfriends to their friends. It's all nice and it's all fun. But things become weird when you start building exclusive relationships with your friends' girlfriends, right? With your friends' wives. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. You should know as a man, right? We know men. Men are terrible, right? They'll do anything to get ass. They'll do anything to get laid. So you have to protect yourself against that. You have to set boundaries to let your woman know that, hey, you're not going to put up with that. Hey guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you can do me a really quick favor and hit that like button before clicking out of this video, I'd really appreciate it. It really helps boost my channel. If you enjoyed this video and have thoughts of your own, please share them down in the comment section down below. I respond to everybody. My name is Zed. We'll talk soon. Peace.